All right. Well, it's Tuesday, June 18th, and we are in Bari, Italy. And we got an early start to beat the crowds because there's at least three cruise ships in town today, and it's going to be a mess. So we left about 8 o'clock in the morning before everybody was up and went to visit Bari Fort. That was the first, Bari Castle, sorry. That was our first stop, was to visit the castle. We didn't go inside. We didn't really have time, but you can see when the Italians build a castle, it's not just a plain castle. They always have to put nice architectural features on it, the scallops, and you can see those. There used to be a moat around the outside. You can see those gun ports that shoot down into the moat, but don't allow anybody to shoot back up. So we have a tour set up later today that was supposed to be a taste of Bari. We thought it was a foodie tour to go sample food at various restaurants in the old town. And this is Pasta Street here. We got here before it was crowded. Later in the day, when all the cruise ship people were out here, this thing was packed. You could hardly walk. But that's where we bought the pasta at that Nunzia place. We bought some of them. Actually, they sit out here and make the pasta right in front of you. You can see it's on drying racks. And not everybody is out yet, but they can sell the pasta right there in Old Town. So this is Old Town Bari. And you got to love Italy. These old streets, and cobblestones and marble and limestone rock streets. It's beautiful. It's easy to get lost in this neighborhood. The streets are narrow, and then our next stop was the little harbor there. This is the old Bari Harbor. The building on the right that you just saw is the theater. It's the only theater in Italy that's actually built on the water. It's on pilings or something. And then there's a wall that runs along the outside of the port there. By the way, that's not the cruise ship port. It's in a different place. Those are all the fishing boats. There's a fish market over there in that harbor. And so you enter into the old city through this gate. And so they used to be able to close them off when they were defending the city. And this is the old Market Street. That post you can see there is where they chained people when they wanted to embarrass them, like criminals or whatever. They would chain them up. So that was to make them ridicule in the market square here. The old fish market used to be there, but they moved it. Anyway, now the most interesting part of Bari is this cathedral, which is St. Nicholas Cathedral. And in 1087, the folks from Bari went to Turkey and they bought the remains of St. Nicholas, who was buried and interred somewhere in Turkey, I don't know where. But they brought his remains back here to Bari and they built this cathedral around his remains. And so there's a better view of the front of it. And today, there's a wedding going on, so you're going to see part of that. But this gal's explaining that on May 7th of every year, they open up the crypt where St. Nicholas is buried in. Yeah, once they get the crypt open, they actually extract some kind of liquid which is in the crypt. It's supposed to be a miraculous liquid because it's available every year. They extract it, mix it with some water, and then make it available for people to purchase. They believe it has some healing and restorative properties to it. And we're going to take a trip down in the church in just a minute and see where that crypt of St. Nicholas is. So the next sequence here shows us going inside the church of St. Nicholas. I'm going to show you what the ceiling, there's St. Nicholas, a depiction of him there. I'm going to show you the ceiling of the church. It's beautiful. It looks like gold leaf up there. And just like the church in Corfu, it's a flat roof, not a domed roof. It's something unique to the architecture here. So there's a stairway on each side that leads down to the crypt, which is about underneath the main altar of the church. Now, there was some kind of religious service going on there today with all the priests and whatnot from this particular church. So I walked through as quietly and unobtrusively as I could. So I walked across and went up the stairway on the other side to get out. And I'll show you right in the middle, underneath the main altar, is where this crypt is. And you're going to see it as I walk by. Right there. So that Santa Mana or Holy Manna from that crypt is made available at the store here that can be purchased by people who want to use it. So the next thing was there's a wedding going on, and so the bride was probably wondering who all these people were because a whole bunch of folks from the ship were there taking pictures. You get to hear the organ. There we go. So our next stop was learning how to make pasta. And we thought this was going to be a foodie tour where we stopped and had a taste of Bari. What we got was a taste of their culture as opposed to a taste of their culinary products. Anyway, we did get to learn how to make pasta. So you take semolina flour, you mix it with some warm water so it's the right consistency, and then you roll it out. And then after you get it rolled out in long strings, then you use that knife to cut it and kind of roll it, and then turn it inside out, and you set it out to dry. It's supposed to dry for they told us 3 days or so. And then at the very end of this demonstration, they actually cooked some for us and put a little sauce on it and let us taste it. So that was the only pasta we got all day while we're in Bari. So we had to get back to the ship after this was over, and we didn't have time to go to a restaurant and eat. So the lady went around and checked to make sure everybody's dough was the right consistency, had enough moisture in it. It's funny because they didn't offer us any hand cleaner or anything before we started doing this. Fortunately, we had some hand sanitizer that we're able to use, but it was a little strange. Yeah. And she said break it into 3 pieces. It's about the thickness of a pencil. That's what you want. And then you start cutting it, rolling it, and turning it inside out. The ladies that do it on the street are incredibly fast, and they all look the same. None of ours look the same in the process, although it looks fast. I got it speeded up 6 times faster than normal, so it wouldn't take forever. But yeah, but we took this stuff home or went back to the ship, and we're going to try and cook the pasta that we made after we let it dry for 3 days. And there it is. They cooked some. I hope it wasn't the stuff that the previous people made. hopefully some of that those ladies made. It was good. A little bit chewy, but excellent. So that was our taste of Bari right there. Now I'm going to collect up the pasta we made in a cup and take it back on the ship. By the time I got it back on the ship, it had all gone back into one big ball of dough, so I had to make it all over again. And I'll let you know how it turned out. I'm going to cook it with a hot water pot in our room. So stay tuned for Ravenna, Italy tomorrow. We're on our way to Ravenna.